A nation for whom hunger was just a word, in whose city there was no concept of hardship, where gold was like dust and water flowed like a mercy. Then imagine just one small mouse and the great dam of Marib met its written destiny. No army attack, no earthquake, no lightning from the sky. Just one command of Allah, and one night, world's wealthiest empire was buried underground. This is the event mentioned by Allah Himself in the Quran. This is the people of Saba, the journey from paradise to hell. The people of Saba settled in the southern part of Arabia, in the region of present-day Yemen. But this was no ordinary nation. They were the most prosperous nation in the world. Their land was fertile, the breeze was gentle, and the rain occurred with perfect balance. But their true strength, their biggest secret, was the great dam of Marib. This dam was so magnificent that it provided water to gardens spread across both sides. There was so much fruit that when a traveler passed through, they never felt hunger. The Quran describes this scene. There was for Saba a sign in their dwelling place, 2 gardens on the right and on the left. And then Allah says, "Eat from the provision of your Lord and be grateful to Him." This was not just wealth, it was a system of Allah's mercy.
The fish catch has been very good this month. Our trade is improving every month.
The city was clean, the system organized, and people were at peace. The most famous ruler of this nation was Queen Bilqis. According to Tafsir Ibn Kasir, Bilqis was a wise, intelligent, and powerful queen. Her throne was magnificent, her system was strong, and her kingdom was famous far and wide. Eventually, mention of her reached the Prophet of Allah, Hazrat Suleiman alayhi salam. Hazrat Suleiman alayhi salam was the prophet whom Allah gave such power that no one else received. Jinns were under his command, birds understood his language, and the wind blew for him. He sent a letter to Bilqis. The Quran narrates the words of this letter. Verily, it is from Suleiman, and it begins in the name of Allah. It gave the invitation, bow down in prostration before Allah. Bilqis consulted her advisors and sent gifts, gold, silver, jewels. But Suleiman alayhi salam returned everything and said,
"What Allah has given me is far better than your wealth."
At that point, Bilqis understood that this was no ordinary king. He was a prophet of Allah. Then she herself came to Suleiman alayhi salam. When she entered the glass palace, she lifted her garment thinking it was water. Then the reality was revealed. At that moment, Bilqis said,
"O my Lord, I was wrong. I now believe in Allah."
And according to Tafsir Ibn Kasir, after Bilqis, the people of Saba also accepted Islam. This was the spiritual and worldly peak of Saba. But time does not always remain the same. Bilqis's era ended. Generations changed. Rulers changed. And with time, pride took the place of gratitude. The mention of Allah decreased, and the intoxication of their own power increased. Allah warned them. He sent prophets, but they mocked them. The prophets told them, "These gardens are not the miracle of your intellect, they are the mercy of the Lord. If you stop being grateful, this mercy will become a burden for you." But the people of Saba would laugh. They would reply, "You are trying to scare us. Look at our Marib dam, strong as the mountains. Can your Lord even knock that down?" The prophets would say again, "When Allah seizes, the cause is not big. Just His command is enough." But there was only arrogance on the faces of the people. Years passed. The Prophet of Allah explained repeatedly, "Mend your ways before mercy turns into wrath." But their hearts remained like stones. The Prophet kept calling out, "Fear Allah, not the dam."
Stop scaring us with punishment. We will stop it with our power and wealth.
And right there, the decision for their downfall had been made. Here, the Quran tells something that shakes the intellect. Allah says, "But they turned away from us, so we sent upon them the flood of the dam." According to traditions, mice began making holes in the foundation of the Marib Dam. People saw it, but they were blind in their pride.
This dam is a sign of our power. These mice can do nothing to it.
Then that night came. People were sleeping, the city was silent, and the Marib Dam was taking its last breaths. And suddenly the dam broke. The water that was once a mercy had now become a wrath. People began to scream. Someone said, "But the dam was strong. For God's sake, run!" But there was no way to run. The words of the Quran are, "Then we sent upon them the flood of the dam." The voice of the Prophet kept echoing.
This is the same thing you kept denying.
Rising waves kept falling upon the city, taking every corner in their grip. Houses, gardens, and markets all drowned at once. People were screaming, trying only to save their own lives. Some were falling, some were dissolving in the waves, and every noise dissolved into the wrath. Finally, a high wave silenced them all forever. And then the land that was paradise became a wasteland. Gardens turned to dust. Houses were washed away. Entire cities were finished. Generations were ended. Only the story remained. Allah says that in place of their gardens, thorny bushes were planted. Why was this punishment given? The Quran itself answers. This punishment was because they were ungrateful. The people of Saba were not destroyed by wealth. They were destroyed by pride. Their crime was not that they were rich. Their crime was that they forgot gratitude. And this incident is not just for them, it is for all of us. If the blessings given by Allah take us away from Allah, they do not remain a mercy, they become a punishment. Think, if a small mouse can topple an empire by the command of Allah, where do we stand? Write in the comments, wealth or pride, which thing destroyed nations? Like the video and subscribe to the channel.